Hey everyone, if you're just getting your feet wet in data engineering, I bet you're hearing three names constantly: Spark, Databricks, and Synapse. And you know, it can get super confusing really fast. So in this explainer, we are going to untangle all of it and give you a super clear path forward.
This is the big question, isn't it? It feels like they're all kind of the same thing, they all have Spark at their core, so what's the real difference? And more importantly, which one should you actually be spending your time learning? Well, don't worry. By the time we're done here, you'll know exactly how these pieces fit together and which road is the right one for you.
All right, first things first, we absolutely have to start at the foundation. And that foundation is Apache Spark. See, before we can even begin to understand the big platforms, we have to understand the thing that powers them.
Okay, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this analogy. Spark is like a ridiculously powerful, high-performance V8 engine. It gives you incredible speed and raw power for crunching huge amounts of data. But an engine all by itself can't really get you anywhere, right? You need a whole car built around it.
So what is this engine, technically speaking? Well, Spark is this amazing open-source framework that lets you take these massive computational jobs and spread them out across a whole bunch of computers working together. It's famous for being incredibly fast, mostly because it does a lot of its work in memory. It's pretty much the gold standard for any kind of large-scale data work.
Now, here's what's maybe even more important to understand: what Spark isn't. And this trips a lot of people up. You don't just log into Spark. It has no user interface. There's no easy button to schedule your jobs, no built-in system to manage your storage. It's just pure, raw, unadulterated power. Think of it as just the framework, waiting for someone to build something cool on top of it.
And while we're talking Spark, you're going to hear the term data frame constantly. The easiest way to think about a data frame is to picture a giant, super intelligent spreadsheet or a table, but one that's so massive it's spread across hundreds of computers. It's the main way you actually organize and work with your data when you're using the Spark engine.
All right, so we've got our engine. Now let's look at the first car that was built around it. And this one's pretty special because it was built by the very same people who actually designed the Spark engine in the first place.
So, Databricks is the whole package. It takes that powerful Spark engine and builds everything, and I mean everything, you need around it. The chassis, the steering wheel, the fancy dashboard, the comfy seats, the whole shebang. It basically turns that raw computational power into a fully functional, ready-to-drive vehicle for data teams.
And this list right here perfectly shows what I mean by building a car. Databricks gives you these awesome collaborative notebooks so your whole team can write and share code in the same place. It handles the crazy complexity of setting up Spark clusters for you. I mean, it boils it down to just a few clicks. It also adds this optimized storage layer called Delta Lake to make your data way more reliable. And it even layers on tools like MLflow for machine learning and Unity Catalog for security and organization. The biggest takeaway here: it's a full-service platform, and, this is huge, it runs on all the major clouds: AWS, Azure, and GCP.
Okay, on to our second car. So if Databricks is that custom-built, high-performance sports car, you can think of Synapse as the flagship model from a major manufacturer, in this case, Microsoft, that comes with its entire ecosystem built right in.
Yep, Azure Synapse Analytics is Microsoft's answer to an all-in-one data platform. And yes, it also has a Spark engine under the hood. But its main selling point, its biggest feature, is how seamlessly it plugs into everything else on the Azure highway. So if your company's already driving all over the Azure ecosystem, well, this car is designed to merge perfectly into that traffic.
And just looking at the features, you can see that integration story crystal clear. Sure, it has managed Spark pools, but it also has these incredibly powerful SQL pools for more traditional data warehousing. Its real strength is how tightly it's connected to tools you already know, like Azure Data Factory for pipelines and Power BI for dashboards. But here's the trade-off. It is exclusively an Azure vehicle. You're only driving this car on the Azure highway.
Okay, we've seen both cars. We've taken them for a little test drive. Now, let's do what any good car buyer does. Put them side by side and look at the spec sheet. This is where the differences really pop.
Let's just walk through this row by row. First up, the core engine. Databricks is absolutely laser-focused on one thing: giving you the best, fastest, most optimized Spark experience possible. Synapse, on the other hand, combines Spark with its own SQL MPP engine. That stands for Massively Parallel Processing, which is a beast for data warehousing. Okay, so what's it best for? You go with Databricks when you need that top-tier, best-in-class Spark and machine learning experience, especially if you need to work across different clouds. You pick Synapse when you're already deeply committed to the Azure world. And that brings us to the biggest difference, cloud strategy. Databricks is multi-cloud, AWS, Azure, GCP. Synapse is Azure only, simple as that. Finally, the day-to-day experience and governance. Databricks is very notebook-driven, built for collaboration between engineers and data scientists, with Unity Catalog managing all the rules. Synapse feels more like a big integrated studio, a bit more like a traditional SQL tool, and is governed by the broader Azure Purview system.
So, we've covered the tech, we've compared the platforms, but the final, most important question is, what does any of this mean for you and your journey into data engineering?
Look, I'm going to make this super simple for you. Here are the rules. If your goal is to be a deep Spark expert, or if you think you'll work at a company that uses AWS or GCP, then you should focus on Databricks. It just makes the most sense. Now, if you're joining a company that is all in on Microsoft, they use everything from Azure Data Factory to Power BI, then Synapse is going to be your world. And maybe most importantly, if you're just starting out and you just want to learn the Spark engine itself without spending a penny, the free Databricks Community Edition is an absolutely incredible, no-brainer place to start. Now, let's talk careers, because that's the goal for a lot of you, right? Getting that first data engineering job. The honest truth is, skills in either of these platforms are super valuable and in high demand. But because Databricks skills can be used on AWS, Azure, and GCP, they often give you more flexibility and can open up a wider range of job opportunities. It just gives you more options.
So what should you do right now, today? Here is your game plan. Step 1, sign up for the free Databricks Community Edition and really master the basics of the Spark engine and data frames. Step 2, go find a fun public data set online and build a small project with it. Actually, process the data. This will show employers you can apply your skills. And from there, you specialize. You can either dive deeper into the Databricks world with things like Delta Lake, or if you're leaning toward Azure, start exploring how Spark and Synapse connects to all its other services. The key is to start with the engine first. So really, the final question isn't which car is better, it's which car is headed to your destination.